Despite contacts between intermediaries, the United States rejected Russian President Vladimir Putin's proposal for a ceasefire in Ukraine aimed at freezing the ongoing conflict, according to 3 Russian sources familiar with the discussions. This refusal marks the beginning of a third year of the deadliest conflict in Europe since World War II and highlights the considerable gulf that still exists between the world's 2 largest nuclear powers. A US source refuted any official contact and asserted that Washington would not partake in discussions that excluded Ukraine. According to Russian sources, Putin conveyed signals to Washington in 2023, both publicly and through intermediaries, including Moscow's Arab partners in the Middle East and others, indicating his readiness to contemplate a ceasefire in Ukraine. Putin's proposal entailed freezing the conflict at its current boundaries, with no willingness to relinquish any Ukrainian territory under Russian control. However, the signal presented what some within the Kremlin perceived as the most viable route towards achieving some form of peace. A senior Russian source speaking on condition of anonymity due to the sensitivity of the matter disclosed that the discussions with the Americans in late 2023 and early 2024 yielded no progress. According to a second Russian source familiar with the contacts, the Americans conveyed to Moscow via intermediaries that they were unwilling to engage in talks regarding a potential ceasefire without the involvement of Ukraine, resulting in the failure of the discussions. Another source with the knowledge of the discussions remarked, everything fell apart with the Americans, emphasizing that the US reluctance to pressure Ukraine was a significant factor. The extent of these contacts and the subsequent collapse had not been previously reported. This development occurs against the backdrop of US President Joe Biden's ongoing efforts to secure additional aid for Ukraine, a move that has encountered resistance from allies of Republican presidential nominee frontrunner Donald Trump. Putin's decision to deploy thousands of troops into Ukraine in February 2022 marked the onset of a full-scale war following 8 years of conflict in eastern Ukraine between Ukrainian forces and pro-Russian Ukrainians, as well as Russian proxies. Ukraine asserts that it is defending its very existence, while the West frames Putin's invasion as an imperial-style land grab that challenges the post-Cold War international order. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has categorically stated his refusal to accept Russia's control over Ukrainian territory and has banned any communication with Russia.